Well, hey now, everyone. Thanks for tuning back into the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. And I know that these are some very strange times. I think when I say that, many would just simply agree. And I think it's an understatement of sorts. I won't go into the video telling you all my experiences and how my eyes see this experience, my, trips to the grocery stores and the shelves being bare and all the little things that I've noticed along the way, the small things like how when I go to use my phone every couple of days and I'm unable to pick up a call, it drops the call, or there are a lot of spinning, like we're taxing the system, if you will, which I'm sure the powers that be, if this was intended, know that it would be stressful, an added element, even as light as a feather, upon anyone during this time. Okay, so when you go to use your phone or pick up a phone call from somebody, a family member across the country or in an entirely different part of the globe will call you, or even down the street, and you're anxious to speak to them, and you're just stressed and anxious anyway, and your phone just you can't hear them on the other end, but you can see them, the seconds ticking down on the timer. Those things will eat at a person, especially over time, if they continue to happen. So I've experienced some of these small, weird things, but as you know, and I know, things are very, very strange. We have a lot of YouTubers saying they can't speak about the coronavirus, COVID-19. They can't speak of it. Now we're getting messages that YouTube is going to be going more automated. You have YouTubers who have a fair amount of subscribers not asking for things or help, but stating how sorry their situation is and how fearful they are and they can't concentrate. And so we're getting a mixed bag of things that happen, actions that happen when our backs are against the wall. You see the true testimony of a person's character. And though I'm not saying that we shouldn't give for those who can give, but what we shouldn't do is use the moment to fulfill our own needs in terms of playing on the sympathies or pities of others during this time, because we all are experiencing this together. And yes, it is true. It's not a bad thing if you really are in need. But if you're, talking about where you have different things that you need in your household and medical issues, and that becomes a private, personal matter that really should have grace and be able to endure on your own. If not, that's what they have, GoFundMe pages. And I know that when you have a bunch of followers, why go to another source, right? To ask for help. But I noticed a lot of YouTubers do that. And sometimes I wonder their motives behind it. Okay, so today I'd like to speak to you about something, and it will get a little dark. Let's go to the dark side, people. Let's delve into this because we're in it. We're in the dark times. We're in situations where the evil of the world, the not so positive, proper, good, kind, loving, compassionate, light-filled part of our existence as humanity, as humans, is showing itself, And it's up to us to band together, become one, and really look at some things and think for a moment. Think for a moment. And of course, you know, the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel is about everything the British royals have to offer us, including and especially as it pertains to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Now we know these two are hiding out, and I started this video very seriously because I've been thinking very seriously. I've been thinking back about our lovely me again and noticing that she's not becoming me again anymore because she's escaped the situation that she is not wanting to be in, and she feels, I believe, that she has put herself above and away from, detached from the source that gives her the most pain. And I feel like it's just temporary. But I also would like to say that I find it interesting that in her whole entire trip back to the UK just a week ago, she didn't even seem to be keeping her hands to herself. In other words, she was shaking hands. Harry was shaking hands. There was no elbow. There was no daps. There was no high fives. There was no, waves. It was all about shaking hands. I found that really interesting since over this week we're all suffering in one shape or form or another. And then I noticed that when I thought back to the video that I made late last week, I'm thinking, how did Meghan even decide to travel to the last, because we know that she wanted to get out of it months and months back. But especially with this COVID-19, that it was, people were giving, the media itself was giving heads up in November, right? November, December of last year. And so she still found it easy to travel. And we know, let's face it, we know that that was not a commercial flight. It wasn't a flight in which other people were on the same plane as her and that she might have been in first class. I don't think so, because we would have heard or saw something. Somebody would have tweeted, somebody would have insta'd, somebody would have put it out in the universe, in social media somewhere, that there goes Meghan as she walks by, or they see someone being scurried through the airport, or maybe Range Rovers outside, etc., etc., etc. So we didn't see that, right? We didn't hear about that. So it makes me think, just trying to use my noggin, that private flights were used. Okay. But she flew back to the UK, shook hands, went in big groups of people, and of course that's just before countries were saying, cutting their borders off and keeping functions down to less than 10 people, and even worse than that, self-containment, self-quarantine, right? How did she just pull that off? And as a matter of fact, how did that just become the very last thing that she could do before all this hit? So that just got me thinking a little bit on the darker side of things, and that with a few other things that I want to share with you. And, yes, it's going to be a little bit on the dark side. So it'll be a little bit Meghan. It'll be a little bit of some things and some theories that I have, some ideas, some opinions, and gossip, because we see that Meghan is out of the news, mainly, and they're regurgitating a lot of stories we don't care about. And like I said, I'm on YouTube surfing, and I see a lot of, I'm online surfing actually, but on YouTube, when YouTube videos come up for what I'm sourcing, and I see a lot of YouTubers, addressing a little bit of the coronavirus, but also talking about their own experiences, which is good. But I find suspect for some who are using their subscribers and viewers to put out there that they're in need. You know, we're all in need. We're all in need, all of us. Just our viewers, we're all one. We're all in the same situation. Some may be a little above, to the left, to the right, below. We're all in the same vicinity thereof. So today I just wanted to start, and if you're new to my channel, where everything the British royals as it pertains to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry especially, today I'm just going to go off topic a touch and come back and forth, so stay with me, folks. I want it not to be too long. We're already at 10 minutes, but you'll find the full disclaimer below, and my content, as you know, is found on the public domain. Fair use, freedom of speech. I'm located in the United States, and I too am biracial. Whoop, whoop. Big fun. Okay. So, as a woman in the United States who has some critical constructive criticism and some critical points and theories and gossip and thoughts and opinions that are all my own, I happen to find this on the OSA YouTube channel. What a generous move. This couple is a good example of how to take care of people in need during the coronavirus pandemic. Let's enjoy Ryan and Blake's love story. So this channel person put a link to this channel. It's called the OSA channel, and this was posted 12 hours ago. And apparently, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds donated $1 million to food banks. Now, I didn't want to go any further with this because my video is not about this, but I thought it was a nice way to show some celebrities putting themselves secondarily to others and thinking of how others would feel and knowing how blessed they are in reality and how they can share their wealth with those in need at this particular time. What do we hear from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's camp? Nada. We don't hear anything, right? Okay, so that's my positive tip for today. Now, I have been thinking about a lot of dark things because these are really dark times. I'm not sure if a lot of you know, but these times correlate with the Bible. I said a bad word. It's the Bible, and many, many people have forgotten it. I'm not a Bible thumper. I don't care what religion anybody else is. I accept all for who they are, non-denominational. But in my own personal self, my own personal life, I distinctly feel this is somewhat biblical. However, we also know that the powers that be can try to know that about some people and know that that is part of a very old, one of the oldest books in the world, but they may try to, jump off on it, in other words, make something that seems like biblical, and that would fool us, and we would somehow feel like it is part of Revelations and it is biblical events. Or they might downplay it and say, those of us who feel that there's huge correlation between Revelation, and the Bible, especially certain verses, they would say that we are the kind of people who are crazy for mentioning it. So I mention it because it really sounds a little biblically. So I thought I would mention that, and then I want to get into a couple of other things. Let's see if I can keep this video under 20 minutes, people. We don't want to completely look at Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but I think they deserve it, and so I'm going to leave them up for a few minutes and let you look at that. Now, I'm in the United States, and it might not matter to you, but in the United States, there was a law enacted in October. It was passed in March of 2000. It was signed into law in October of 2000. Okay. The law is called the NESARA, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, if I pronounce that correctly. Some of the things that are covered in this law that was signed into law, but it wasn't, it wasn't enacted. It wasn't made active, if you will. It was passed. And it was signed into law in October. So it was passed in March 2000 and signed into law in October 2000. You can look this up yourself by just putting the word N, or the abbreviation of the act itself, NESARA. Okay, things that are covered in this and that the law provides are the following. Please listen closely, because if you're in the United States, you would care, perhaps. And if you're in the UK or any other part of the world, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're okay, and don't worry. Worry will not fix this. So just hunker down and follow, whatever guidelines, and just be at peace with yourself and do what you do, boo. Okay. One of the laws that are provided in this Reformation Act is forgives credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. Abolishes income tax. Well, that will be bad for a lot of people in terms of, in the United States, we're still just at the deadline, which is coming up in April, to file your income tax. So if they were to abolish it, but they could do so for the rest of this year, for next year. Abolishes IRS, creates flat rate, non-essential, new items only sales tax revenue for the government. Increases benefits to senior citizens, returns constitutional law, establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after the NESARA's announcement, monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities or special interest groups, creates new U.S. Treasury currency, rainbow currencies, backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals. I have a problem with this one because I am sure I've read that the United States does not have enough gold, silver, or platinum to back any dollar bill note. Because again, a note, a dollar bill, or any paper money is just a promissory note for what is real, which is commodities, gold, silver, platinum. I don't know if it's still pigs and butter, and I don't know about that, oil, things like that. Okay. So I'm not so sure about that. The United States does not have enough gold reserves. Returns constitutional law to all our courts and legal matters. Initiates new U.S. Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law. Eliminates the Federal Reserve System. Restores financial privacy. Restrains all judges, attorneys in a constitutional law. Ceases all aggressive U.S. government military actions worldwide. Establishes peace throughout the world. That's tougher than any of these, but I like it. Initiates first phase of worldwide prosperity distribution of vast wealth, which has been accumulating for many decades. This one is a scary one because it's going to distribute the wealth. Think about that. Who would want that who is truly wealthy? Most truly wealthy people don't want you and I to be having our hands on any of that wealth when they probably feel entitled to it. Establishes peace throughout the world. Initiates first phase of worldwide prosperity. I said that one already. Sorry about that. Releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. Megan wouldn't have a job, I guess, because she's like the biggest humanitarian. Well, I feel bad for Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively because they donated $1 million to food banks. And I'm thinking, Meghan, how dare them? Meghan Markle believes she is one of the greatest and most reliable sources of humanitarianism. So, and how dare them say that the governments are going to release enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. Megan would be out of a job, right? She'd have to look at other businesses to create in her head. Enables the release of new technologies such as alternative energy devices. Now that's the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and that was passed on March 2000 and was signed into law October of 2000, which we haven't seen here in the States. I don't know what part of this is actually being used, but okay, so I'm at 20 minutes, so I blew that goal. I want to let you know that I had received a email, and this email was from a friend, and it was a friend telling me about something really strange, and that got me thinking, and I wanted to add this into the video. So I know it's going to sound strange because it's a strange thing. It's something that's circulating all over. You may have seen it in your Facebook, your Instagram, I don't know, whatever. But it has not just gone to me, it was shown to me. Okay? It says this, it states this. Okay, here we go. This will be the guarded message, a guarded message. I don't want to get arrested. Plus, you don't understand, and this is going to shock you. My words will be a little cloaked. Interesting. The guy in the States has been risking his life to save humanity. By the way, no sources will be shown by me. Things are going to be severe for a few months. There is a coronavirus. He tried, but was unable to stop it. It's convenient because he's on the hunt. And he's definitely after the French guy in Owata. I guess that's Canada, I don't know. The vaccination will be to stop the coronavirus. The virus hurts the celebrities the most. The celebrities have been sacrificing children. The fear blood helps with aging. The fear blood is synthetic now. They're having trouble finding it. They can check their blood anytime for it, and they're getting sick. There's 156,000 of them. Despite being a little rough, he's doing this because you can obviously see how sick this is. In the next few months, while you see serious troop deploy, when the dust settles, your guess is as good as mine. So that was a little bit of it, and I was wanting to read that to you because I was interested in the fear blood and how the celebrities are getting sick because they, supposedly according to this weird fake story, this weird thing going around. I don't know if anyone else has seen this on their Facebook or anything, but it talks about somebody pretending to write this because it's a guarded message. They don't want to get involved with anything. Obviously, they believe that celebrities deal with fear blood, and that's why they getting sick. The celebrities are scared, such on and so forth. So it's a very dark time for us. And I wanted to show you this little clip. I'm going to try to end here because I went way too long. But I just want to show you this little clip that from a movie called The Devil's Advocate. And why I want to show you this is because it goes along with how the times are, how celebrities are. We're not seeing Megan. Now remember, Megan loves the spotlight. We're not seeing Megan. Is that because she had a payday that was out of control and fantastic, and she's sailing off right now on a really good high, knowing that she's gotten paid off for this acting gig on the world stage? Or is it because she's frightened of something else besides the virus that's going around, this pandemic? Is it because she is getting ready to, prepare herself for coming back into Hollywood? Is she, hobnobbing in that manner? So we haven't seen her, and we definitely haven't seen her and Harry together. And Harry, is his agenda set where he wanted to act this out as well and break away from his confines a little bit, live and stretch his limbs, do some different stuff, and maybe he's feeling, like he's on a long vacation for a bit. But I feel like he's probably, in my heart, in my opinion, I feel like he's already back in the UK doing UK stuff, Prince stuff, not Prince, Purple Rain Prince, doing Prince Harry stuff, and living the good life that they believe they live. And so these two are not even together. And I still don't really believe there's an Archie, not an official Archie, not an Archie that's from Prince Harry at all. I feel like it's maybe a baby that is for somewhere else. And if it even is a real baby. And if there is a real baby, I believe it's totally surrogate. And so where is this baby? Because by the time we see him, he is going to be like 3 years old. And he's going to be running and walking and refusing to follow his mommy. And we're all going to need to see that. And somebody's going to be taking care of him. Or are they going to be like Michael Jackson and blanket? And we're always going to see the kid with a cover over his head or a mask, which just be weird for the royals. It's just too much to think about. So with Meghan conveniently visiting the UK just in time to be able to get in there, shake hands, smile, touch everything, sign papers, using pens from everybody, and taking off in cars and doing all these things with people in the public and in groups, large numbers of people convening in the same place. And she did not get the coronavirus, but we have other celebrities that are getting it. So do we know if Meghan has the coronavirus? Because I feel like if Meghan had the coronavirus, she would not want that released. No way, no how. I don't know about Prince Harry. I would think Prince Harry would come straight and clean and say he's tested positive, but he's fine. And that same old speech everybody says. But I feel like Meghan would not. Okay, so when I got to thinking about how devious celebrities can be if they're not Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, not them, not that, they're definitely giving people and feel for the world and humanity itself. And they put things to actions. But those celebrities that do odd things and we read about them and we see about them and we feel like they're thriving in times when that really they should be offering to look at other people, not that they're obligated to, but that they would have a burning desire to help other people. But instead you hear silence. Meghan, Harry. So I thought I would share with you this little tiny clip. Hopefully it'll play for you. It's one of my favorite movies. I don't know if it'll play. I guess it won't. I don't think it will. Let's see if this one will. No. Okay, it did play. So that's a scene in the movie The Devil's Advocate from like the 19-somethings, 1997, I don't know. And it's definitely about an attorney who joins a firm, but the firm is run by the devil himself and is the devil's daughter and all their cohorts. And they look like regular people, but occasionally they show themselves, especially to scare or startle the innocent person that was married into this attorney's life. And this is just one of the scenes. And it just reminds me a lot of the things that we can, the things that we can see in our lives in this precious Hollywood that Meghan covets. And I want to end here and say, I wonder why she covets it so dearly. I guess that's a big question. Why does she cover it so dearly? Okay. I was going to go into one or two more things, but I think it's long enough. And so at 30 minutes, I am out. I want to leave you with this channel, OSSA, OSSA on YouTube, for this Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds donate $1 million to food banks. Now that's what I've been talking about in terms of celebrities who actually open up their own purse and offer their money for an organization or people or to help somebody, and instead of getting together and being paid to show up at a place and asking us to open our purses while they sit on millions. Very commendable, decent people. Thank you. I will see you all in the next video. I want you to be blessed, and please try to understand worry. When you find yourself worrying, I know it's hard, but when you find yourself worrying, think about it logically. You can worry for all the days, and it will not make an indentation on what is happening. The only thing you can do is your actions, and your actions have to be clear, and you also have to think everything will be all right. Thank you, and I'm thinking of you. Bye.